Okay, guys, I guess it's time for another rage. And this is gonna be really disjointed for certain. But after putting up the intro for the new Let's Play that me, Aki, and my new artist Gecko are doing just for fun, a lot of people are freaking out. Oh my god, Aki has bouncing boobs, it's so horrible. And, you know, I've been meaning to talk about this before, but I never could find a really good, solid time to do it. And now is a good time to do that. So, help me understand, guys. Why is it that all of this death and blood and gore and pulling out people's limbs and hearts and other organs is completely okay in gaming and just media otherwise? And why is it so freaking awful for there to be tits? Someone, please, tell me why this is. I mean, I already know the reason. It's completely cultural. As far as Americans go, we had to use violence to get our independence and survive. We needed to use grotesque violence in order to fend off the British. We needed violence in order to keep a good control over the Wild West. We needed to kill several animals and gut them and harvest them and yeah, all that bloody mess. But we're really not like that anymore, are we? We don't have to use violence 9 times out of 10 to solve all of our problems. We've kind of gone beyond all that, yet we still maintain that mentality. So, you don't even have to answer the question of why is this a thing. I already know why it's a thing. But it still kind of irritates me that this is how it is. It still drives me absolutely crazy that cleavage is a cause for alarm, but any sort of blood violence or, God forbid, swearing isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, in my very first episode, that's what I harped on about. Galgun. People freaking out over Galgun. And it's nothing! Okay, I want to know what's more harmful. That, or actually shooting a bunch of chicks, because I'm sure there's a game where that's an option. It blows my mind, and maybe it's because we're so sensitive to things like sexual abuse, and I can understand that, and I can respect that, and I can get behind that, but when it's obviously not, it's obviously not. And maybe I'm just alone in defending TNA at this point, but I think it has every right to exist as much as every violent game, violent movie, violent whatever, and equally as much right to exist as every 50 Shades of Grey, and as for every Twilight that exists. Ladies, you can sit here and argue all the livelong day that a pair of bouncing tits is absolutely horrible, that it's just completely appalling, it's over-sexualization. Yeah, but you girls have that too. Come on, let's be honest here. I've read a couple of trashy romance novels because I needed to get the research done. I know what's in that, and I tell you what, men aren't like those men. We're not completely chiseled and ugh. I can't even sit here and argue that I feel offended by having this expectation from women about what I'm supposed to look like, what I'm supposed to sound like, what I'm supposed to be doing. We don't talk about that because we're still in a male-dominated society. But, you know, there's a lot of problems being a guy. Maybe not as many as being a female, but we still have hardships, especially if we don't fit the traditional male stereotype. And yeah, there are male stereotypes. I just don't get this, guys. Why is it that something that is natural for reproductive purposes, which, by the way, biologically, we're supposed to do. Every species on this planet is supposed to reproduce. Every species on this planet has ways of getting the attention of the opposite sex. So why is it that we discourage, if not outright ban this sort of thing in favor of doing the absolute opposite, i.e. killing our own species, stopping us from evolving and changing and becoming a much stronger race? Biologically, please answer me that. And I hate to get this upset about this kind of thing, and I know I'm in this complete and horrible minority, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flame comments for that, but I want you guys to seriously think about this, because no one else is. You know, look at Dragon's Crown. God, that was a completely unnecessary crap storm. Yeah, so the sorceress has big honkin' boobies. So? What about the dwarf and the knight, who are completely improportional and overly muscular, and I can't achieve that, and that's kind of over-sexualization of the male, but we don't talk about it. We don't cover that kind of thing because this is still a male-dominated society, and God forbid men actually talk about the problems that we have. And also, God forbid we have any amount of titillation in a game. Again, I just don't think it's that terrible when women have their own equal amount of, I guess, smut. And the other thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I'll explain this in a future episode of Game Exchange, boobs are a punchline in Japan. Alright? Maybe this is something only I see. But if you go back and look at a bunch of manga or anime or games or something like that, when there's a big boob reference in it, I want you to really think about how much of it is 100% fan service and how much of it is there for some kind of twisted comedic value. I mean, you know, here's a great example. Guy gets kicked in the balls. That's freaking offensive to me. You know, I don't think that's funny. That crap hurts. You can ask any guy. Yeah, if you're a woman and you see a guy get kicked in the balls, you might go, oh, that kinda hurt. No, if you're a guy, you're already doubled over on the floor because you can feel that pain. You know, that is a guy's kill switch right there. And it's still funny. We still laugh at that. We still mock it. But, oh my god, if anything like that ever happened to a woman, it would be sexist and it would be rape, etc., etc. So why can't we just play on an even playing field? I don't know. Now I'm just digressing a whole heck of a lot. But I'm serious. I'm so sick of this hypocrisy that we have in this country, where violence is king, but anything that is sexually related is just terrible. You know, I saw someone put in a comment, when referring to Saints Row 3rd, okay, so we can have all of this maiming, destruction, death, and violence, but we still can't have boobs? Okay, I see how this rolls. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. If you're gonna go all out, go all out. If you're not, then don't. You know, and again, this is gonna sound really unfair, and it's gonna sound really sexist for people who just want to knee-jerk, but I really want you guys, those of you who listen to what I say and listen to it carefully, I want you to really ponder about what I've been ranting about in these last 8 minutes. What is it about anything sexually referenced that is so freaking horrible? It's just stuff like that. I mean, I've already talked about where this culturally stands, but I want to hear it from you guys. Why is it that fatalities are just so freaking okay, but a nipple is just so god-awful? I'm serious, I want you guys to put in the comment section down there, what is up with that? So, I guess that's it for me. This has just been a very angry rant, and I'm so honestly sick of all these stupid double standards, guys. I really, really am. But anyway, until next rant, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.